All right, well, live here. We got Thursday night football in the NFL. We got college. We got NBA and Major League Baseball. It's just a fun-filled night. We'll be doing our college football podcast coming up in just a little bit here. I just did want to bring up an announcement real quick, Dan. We're going to be doing a live podcast at the Boston Billiard Club and Casino on November 18th. Essentially, it's going to be us showing up with microphones, hitting record and talking about the night's games, but hanging out with everybody, answering questions, pretty much betting on the games all night. And you can legally bet there. So it's Boston Billiard Club and Casino. I just posted it, Dan, if you want to retweet it as well. But there's a sign-up sheet. And there's limited seating. And I guess there may be food, too. But, of course, there's food at Boston Billiard Club and Casino. But
and it's us, so there should be food.
But hey, a Thursday night, like we'll be there a little bit early. You know, we're going to be talking about the games. You could play some table games, maybe poker, pool, whatever. And then we'll go into a room and we'll shoot the shit about gambling for about 90 minutes. And then we'll watch the Patriots game and we'll hang out with the people. And then I'll leave at halftime, Dan, and I got to go do post game. So, but if you want a chance to hang out with us, like just hang out, shoot the shit about gambling all night and go to a cool place. Boston Billiard Club and Casino. Dan's been there. I hope it sells out, and I hope you guys come. So there's a sign-up sheet. We just retweeted it, so just sign up. Get in now because there'll be limited seating. So come hang out with us. It'll be in Nashua, Nash Vegas, Dan. It's the closest legal place we can go. And Kevin's great over there. Joe, they're all great up at Boston Billiard Club and Casino. So we'll be doing a live podcast, and we hope you can make it. So we'll get that out of the way, Dan. So that should be fun. So go sign up at the sign-up sheet. So what do we have early on today? I know Major League, the National League is in there. They have an 8 o'clock game tonight?
Yeah, they have an 8 o'clock game. That's correct.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that one goes. And is at the end of the Dodgers, you know? Like they had this incredible run, and then are they starting to fade now, you know?
Yeah, bullpen game for them. I mean, their lineup is really, really interesting. Pools in the lineup. They're trying to pull out all the stops against the lefty. So I mean, they're going to have a very different lineup than what they usually have. So I mean, hey, listen, I get it. When your back's against the wall, you got to pull out all the stops to kind of do whatever you need to do to win. I got to be honest with you, I don't love them tonight to win that series. Usually when teams are in these desperate situations, it just really never goes well. It's one of those, it just never goes well. So I'm a little concerned for them in that way. Listen, I think I've gotten enough baseball today. I got the whole Astros fan base mad at me for catching them cheating and whistling their fucking ears off. But it's one of those things that I don't really want to back the Dodgers even with their backs against the wall, man. Just don't. I kind of like
Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly making the start. They're minus 135. Somewhat similar maybe to the Red Sox game yesterday. Sale was 120, 126. You could argue Kelly's been better than Sale, but the do or die for the Dodgers. I'm interested because I do think the Dodgers have it, but this year I know they have won over 100 games. It's hard to win the title and come back. It's just really hard. So it's an interesting spot for them tonight.
Yeah, again, I have nothing in the baseball game, so there you go. I lean Braves. I have no interest in playing that game at all.
All right, we got a triple header in the NBA. I haven't done much research on this one, but I did watch the Bucks and the Warriors play the other night. Very impressed with the Warriors. They have young talent. They got veterans like Andre Iguodala in there. Pools come along. Obviously, Steph Curry had 21 points and 10. Had a triple-double like it was no big deal. This is the first time we see the Clippers, and I believe they're without Kawhi. So, obviously, he's injured, right? So, we haven't seen the Heat yet. They're favored tonight, Dan. And then the Hawks were a playoff team playing the Mavs. Luka Doncic was hot during the Olympics. He's healthy. These are 3 good games tonight, man. I mean, if you want to get a kind of a, all playoff teams, all playoff teams a year ago, and it starts with the early game at 7:30 with Atlanta. I'm curious to see if Atlanta can come back, or do they go back to reality, or does Trae Young take that next step? 2-point favorite tonight against the Mavericks. Total's 225, by the way, and I believe the games went over. A lot of games went over the last couple of nights.
Yeah, I'll just say now I'm not high on Atlanta this year. I'm pretty down on Atlanta. I think they made a really cool run last year. Good story, all that jazz. But I expect them to be a team that fades down the stretch this year. Probably a team you probably won't see me on very much this year. So, probably not. But to be honest with you, I have not started the NBA season well. So to be perfectly honest with you, I probably shouldn't be saying much. So
you know what it is, dude. It's just you got to take a chance. I thought the Celtics would come back and would win that game. I really did. I think a layup or a missed dunk here, and I think we learned something last night that when you're gassed, sometimes it is better to go with a fresh bench player. It worked for the Knicks. Derrick Rose, right? He was fresh. He scored 4 points, and that was the difference in the game. So I'm not saying it was coaching. It was a good game overall. But yeah, just early on in these seasons, these are high totals, man. 225. The Heat game's 223. The Bucks look good, but they didn't look different. You know what I mean? They just and they beat a Nets team that I thought would beat them. And then the Warriors, again, I told you about them. Who knows what the Clippers are at this point. So tread lightly tonight when it comes to some of these NBA games. Everything's on the table tonight. I know there's NHL action, and then the college football games tonight. Before we get to the NFL games, I know we talked about the UNLV game this morning. They're playing San Jose State, and it's a perfect team that got blown out, came back and won in surprise fashion, and then they got to just possibly tank it against an 0 for team. And that's what a Thursday, 11 o'clock tonight. That's a degenerate special right there. The line's now sitting at 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, it is a degenerate special. I mean, how about this? Who do you like in this one? I'll let you start off.
Well, I think the square play is San Jose State. When I bet San Jose State 2 weeks ago against Colorado State, it was square. I thought I hated Colorado State. San Jose State's not right. They lost a bad game, had their Super Bowl with knowing that they had UNLV on deck. So UNLV's 5-1 against the spread, Dan. Say whatever you want about that. The line's close. I'm sure it's that way for a reason, but maybe this is a night UNLV can finally get a win. It'll be on television. So that's how I feel on the spot. I do think San Jose State is clearly the better team, and they could beat them big. I just think it's a good spot to take them after an emotional win last week.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for UNLV. I mean, UNLV is like 5-1 against the spread against FBS teams this year that covered versus Arizona State. I think their only non-cover has been Iowa State. They lost by 8 to Fresno. They covered versus UTSA. They covered versus Utah State. This is a team that the program is getting better in. They're 4.5-point dogs at home tonight because they just haven't won a football game. I think they win tonight. I think they beat San Jose State outright. I think there's a good chance of that. You got a pretty decent look ahead to Wyoming for San Jose State next week. I don't know if they are still in the mindset of looking ahead. I mean, they have not been good this year. But this is a team that gave up 31 points at home to New Mexico State, a team that scored 3 points against Western Michigan. Like, this has not been an impressive team. I mean, they got the shit kicked out of them by Steve Adazio's Colorado State team earlier this year. So last week was a great spot, I thought. It was a good spot to back them. They almost won that game, lost it overtime, covered easily. This week, I think, is a bad spot for them. I think they lose this game outright. I like UNLV, the points, and I think they win this game outright. I think they get their first win of the season.
Charlotte hosts Florida Atlantic. I'm telling you right now, Charlotte at 6.5. I might buy it to 7. I like that one tonight. Give me the PP. Charlotte 3-0 at home, 4-1 against the spread this year. PP, let's do it.
So I'm definitely on the other side of you on that one. Florida Atlantic, in my opinion, has been the downfall of a very tough schedule. That's how I would define Florida Atlantic right now. Their 3 losses this year: at Florida, at Air Force, at UAB. I mean, those are brutal teams that they played on the road. They honestly they've not won a single game on the road. But Charlotte's a totally different type of team, totally different atmosphere. Listen, I know they're having a great year so far, but to be perfectly honest with you, they're a step down from this FAU team. There's a reason that they're 3-3 and they're favored by almost a touchdown on the road. I think this Owls team is still pretty strong defensively. I wasn't super impressed by what they did versus UAB or Air Force, obviously, but I still think they're a good defensive squad, and I expect Charlotte to struggle pretty mightily tonight. I looked at the total. I also like the under in that one. I think that this is going to be a game where Charlotte struggles to score. So,
all right, this one's interesting. ULL is a good team, man. 5-1, right? Got 1 loss so far. Arky State's been interesting. They're 1-5. They're getting 18 points at home on a Thursday night home dog right now. I'd eat that up. And then, Dan, I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not even Joey Trends right now. I'm eyeballing this one. This one says Arkansas State to me.
Yeah, again, this is coming off their big win versus App State. Really just a monster win for them. Probably about a week or so ago. I think it was a Tuesday game, so maybe a little bit over a week ago, whatever, where they absolutely crushed App State. Now they have to go on the road to Arkansas State. A team that's pretty beneath them. I expect probably a similar outcome to what we saw in that South Alabama game or that Georgia State game Georgia Southern game where, the Raging Cajuns are really good at home. They're a really good home team, but on the road, they've struggled. Their 3 road games this year, 38-18 loss at Texas, 28-20 win at Georgia Southern, and a 2018 win at South Alabama. I think this is going to be a closer game. I don't think that Arkansas State's going to win, but I think they give them a game. I do think that we're going to see the one thing that Arkansas State does do, and we've seen it consistently outside of that Washington game, is Arkansas State scores. So far this year, 40, 55, 34, 33, 20. And that 20 was against Coastal Carolina. I think this Louisiana Lafayette defense is not nearly as good as that Coastal Carolina defense. The one game that they struggled was against that Power 5 Washington team on the road. Could not score, but I think this is going to be a game where Arkansas State's definitely going to get their points. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Louisiana Lafayette. That's why I'm on Arkansas State tonight. I already put on my plays tonight. I'm on Arkansas State, and I'm on the over in this one. I think you're going to see points, and I'm also on that UNLV game that we just talked about. So
wow, there we go. All right, yeah, good job. All right, I'm on your side then on that one. So that's just an eyeball. I definitely looked into this SMU Tulane game. Dude, Sonny Dykes is a damn good coach. They're undefeated, which I'd be wary of already off the bat. How many times have we seen now undefeated teams drop? Tana Mordecai is the QB for SMU. Well, the QBs are really down this year, Dan. He's now on the Maxwell Award. So, he's now, one of the top QBs in the country, or at least listed as that. They had that. I watched that comeback win against Navy. I think that they have a really good high-powered offense. When you look at Tulane, man, the last thing I remember about them is they lost to Houston, right? And they kind of tanked. So the total 70, Tulane's giving up 44 points a game. I remember this game a year ago, Dan. I had SMU and Tulane covered. It was a 37-34 game. So I see it at 13.5 now. I'm very weary of SMU because they should win this game by 2 touchdowns. They both have been off for over 14 days. 10 days, both teams. So, both teams have rested. SMU's at home. I know they're good. I know they're well coached. I know Tulane's 1-5, but Tulane finally had like some time to relax after the way that they started this year. I think they're gonna have a good game plan. Are they gonna give up 40 points? I don't know. I kind of look at the total of 70 here. It barely went over that a year ago, Dan. So it seems a little high to me tonight. So I kind of lean the under 70 in that game.
I do too. I think that's a little bit high. The problem for me is in this game is that one of these big favorites is probably going to cover, just based upon the Thursday night trends. One of these big favorites, and if I'm looking at it, if I'm seriously being honest about it, I think SMU is at least 14 points better than Tulane. I do understand the spread is a little bit scary. It's 13.5. Most places you can get a 14 at Ace and a few other shops, but it's 13.5 most places. Tanner Mordecai, as you said, has been fantastic. This Tulane defense to me is really the problem. They cannot stop the pass. And I thought that one really good game earlier this year, UAB. They did a good job. There was a backup quarterback for UAB, obviously not a starter, but they did a good job at least shutting down the pass. When next couple of weeks they play ECU, give up 52, give up 40 to Houston. This is a team that struggles defensively, and they're coming. They've had a little time here, but they're on the road at SMU. And it's not like this could be a look at for SMU. I do understand. They got back-to-back roadies, Houston and Memphis next couple weeks.
Yeah, they're undefeated, man. That's got to be in their head. It's got to be a thing,
I mean, they're not finishing undefeated. The way their schedule breaks for them, just horrible. At Houston, at Memphis, home versus UCF, at Cincy, home versus Tulsa. I mean, they probably play almost all their toughest games at the end of the season. That TCU game, notwithstanding, the rest of their tough games are coming after this week. So if I'm SMU, I'm starting to prep for the 5 games coming up that are going to be very tough. Maybe outside that Tulsa game, they just don't look the same this year. But I'm probably prepping for that. I do understand the sharp money definitely coming in on Tulane and that 13.5 number. It's just it's a no play for me. I lean under. I agree there too. I see some of these big faves, really put in some good performances tonight. So I just I'll pass. I think this will end up happening.
And I'll just give it out under, Dan. I don't know if you gave out your plays. Are you considering those PPs or not?
Yeah. So I'll do this. I'll just PP them, but I already gave them on Twitter.
All right, under 70. And don't get me wrong, man. That thing could be 100 points. It could be. I just think tonight with both teams focused, they'll be a little tighter than. I don't think Tulane gives up over 40 points tonight like they've been averaging.
So you're going PP under 70?
Under 70.
Okay. So there you go. I'm going PP. UNLV plus 5.5, Arkansas State Lafayette over 70, and Arkansas State earlier was just 19.5. Now it's 18 most places. So I gave it out 19.5 on Twitter. So there you go. So those are my 3. Joe's gave out 2. We gave out the SMU under, and he is on the Charlotte 7 right now. Which
I'll buy it to 7 if you can get it to 7. Get it at 7.
I mean, there are definitely some 7s out there right now. There's a 7-115. So why don't we just call that? Why don't we call that the price and be reasonable about it? Because there's multiple 7 minus 110s, but there are some 7 minus 115s as well. So we'll call it that. So there you go. If you're looking for a dog for money line, I think UNLV is the way to go. I think you want to sprinkle that money line there, plus 180, plus 190. I don't think that's the worst play in the world. I think they have a good chance to cover today. Joe, NFL.
All right. let me set this up for a second.
Okay.
Cleveland is an extremely talented team, right? But they are banged up. And it's obviously Mayfield's the story, but no. Their 2 tackles are out, their 2 corners are out, and their 2 running backs are out. Now, I don't get me wrong. Like I think what's his name will be fine. Oh my God, who the Case Keenum? I think he'll be fine. I think the guy can throw the football. A lot of talent on that team. I think he'll be fine. Who's he going to hand it off to tonight? Like that's Dearness Johnson. That concerns me against one of the better defensive teams now in Denver. So Cleveland's lost 2 straight, right? Denver's lost 3 in a row. Like they got quarterback issues too. Looks like Teddy Bridgewater is going to play, but Denver's dominated the series, Dan. They've won 12 of the last 13 and have won 6 straight in Cleveland. I mean, everything's against Cleveland here, even the history. So, like, can you back a Denver team that's lost 3 in a row here?
I mean, I think this is a decent spot for them catching Cleveland off the Cardinals game. In a game that we just didn't even bother showing up for. It feels like Cleveland's about to go on their own mini loss streak here. I mean, Cleveland has lost 2 in a row. Look at the 3 games for Denver. You have that Baltimore game. Baltimore just dominates you. Baltimore's a better team. You're on the road at Pittsburgh. I think they just struggled that game. Wasn't a good spot for them. And in the Raiders game, I don't feel great. I think they, against a backup quarterback and a backup running back tonight, I think this is a decent get-right spot for the defense. I know that there is, surprisingly, we're still seeing the Browns get the majority of the betting action. I think you're probably going to see this one around 50-50. I think books are going to be pretty happy with the action here. The total has definitely moved around since Baker has been ruled out. Went from 43.5 down to 40.5. We're seeing some 40s pop as well. I'm still seeing a lot of love for the over because it is a Thursday primetime game. But look, I think that I think back in Cleveland in the spot is really difficult. At least personally for me, it is. No Mayfield. It sounds like Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin are both going to be out. Odell Beckham's going to be out. Jadeveon Clowney is going to be out. We already know about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Both of them are a Hunt place on IR. I mean, there's a lot. AJ Green is out as well. Now they do get back Jarvis Landry, so that will be helpful offensively. And I do think that Case Keenum is a half decent backup. I think he'll be able to move the ball. But listen, Teddy Bridgewater does cover. Has been a very good quarterback against the spread. Covers well. I think he is good enough with that defense to win this game for his team. As you kind of talked about, Dearness Johnson is a tough sell at running back. I honestly think they'll end up probably trying to go to someone else in that backfield. He's just but I do think that this is going to be. This is one of those games where I think if you really like shit games, that I think this is going to be a game that you enjoy. I think this is going to be a complete utter disaster of a football game. I think you're going to see a lot of penalties tonight. Going to be a lot of undisciplined play. So we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see this game. I lean Denver. I don't really feel in the total. I guess I would lean under. Again, these are not things that I would play. But if you get Denver at a good number, there were some Denver 2.5 early in this week. If you found the Denver 3, like I'd feel very comfortable rolling with that number. But I don't think we're going to see anything like that. I think we're seeing 1.5s across the board, 40.5 across the board there. So it's probably where we're rolling. Or probably what we're looking like here.
I'm trying to find an angle for the Browns, like home fields. Not like they're a better team. They don't want to go 3-4. Where like, can you lose to the Broncos who've lost 3 in a row? I'm trying to find like a reason for me to take the Browns. They're 1.5 point favorite. It's just this is a tough fucking game.
Yeah, it really is. It is. This is a tough game. I understand why people are having difficulty with this one. I really do.
Oh God. That's it. I got nothing. I'm probably gonna bet it, but I don't know what side I'm gonna go on yet. So
again, I think if you're looking for something like maybe looking at a field goal type game, again, if you want to go longest field goals, not a terrible prop tonight. There's probably gonna be a lot of field goals. So I mean that would be it. That's a way that I'm interested in at least looking. So that if you're looking, if you really want to play something for this game. So
all right, Dan. That's anything else you want to give out tonight? Do we talk any hockey? I don't know if you really want to.
I have not started my hockey stuff. That's probably going to be next week or the week afterwards. Just can't do everything at the same time. So
It's crazy, man, this time of year, dude. It's like last week we couldn't even do our podcast. So we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit here when we start our college week. But man, it's been wild. It's been a wild 7 weeks of NFL and now what, 8 or 9 weeks of college football.
Yep.
We're almost halfway through. Oh, never mind. All right, well, let's do this, Dan. We're gonna stop this now. Thank you. We gave out our picks, and again, if you want to hang out with us at Boston Billiard Club and Casino in Nashua, New Hampshire, it's a 40-minute ride. I'll say. Burlington Mall. Get on Route 3. Boom. Exit 5. Off 93. Coming off Route 3. So come join us. Hang out. We'll watch the Patriots will be on too, so it gives you a reason to go out, and you can gamble and bet online. So that's cool. All legally. So let's do the podcast. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will give our week. I don't know what the hell college football we are in, but we got our podcast coming up. Thanks.